Hey everyone, welcome to InterviewPro. One of the key concepts in any programming language is scoping. Scoping is a mechanism for managing variables and their access within our program. When you look at the concept of scoping in JavaScript, you might have come across the term lexical scoping. What exactly is lexical scoping and why is it important? That's what today's video is all about. Let's take an example. I have a variable, let's say global equals global, global variable. And let's say I have a function which is named as func, and inside this I'm trying to log global variable to console. Finally, I'll call this function. Let's run this. We see the value global variable printed. So when we call this function will be called and this line of code will be executed. So this function will try to look for the variable global within its scope from this point to this point of code. We do not have this variable, so it goes one level up and finds this variable in the global environment. So finally, it prints the value global variable. Now let's create another variable and let me update this function name to outer func, and I have a variable called outer which says outer variable, and let me create another function here, function inner func, and console log outer. Let me move this global inside this inner func. Finally, we will make a call to this inner func. This inner func will be accessible only within this function scope because it is declared within this function. So let's run it. We see the error. Okay, we updated the function name, so we have to update this call as well. Now what happens is when a outer function call is made, it goes to this part of the code. Then we have outer assigned with the value outer variable. Then we have call to the inner func. The control goes here. It looks for the variable outer within this function block. But there is no variable outer inside this function, so it goes one level up to its parent. Here we have the variable available, so it will print this value on the in the console. Now it goes to this line where it tries to find the value global. Global is not available within the inner function scope, so it goes to the outer function scope. Here also global is not available, so it goes one level up to the parent, which is the global environment. So in the global, we have the variable value available, so it finally prints the value global variable. Now let's create another variable, inner equals inner variable, and console log inner. If we run it, we will be able to print inner. But let's move this inner to the outer function scope and run it. We don't see the value for inner because this inner will be available within the function scope. Let's move this back to inner function. This error is because of the lexical scoping. What lexical scoping says is a function will have access to the variables in the parent scope, but the reverse is not possible. The variables in the function will not be accessible by its parent. That's why we were not able to access inner outside the inner function, and we get this error. So lexical scoping defines which variable is accessible where in our program. So this plays an important role in maintaining our JavaScript code. So understanding lexical scoping is very important. Just to recap, lexical scoping says that the variable will be accessible by a function if it is available within the parent scope. The parent scope cannot access the variables of a child scope. I hope the concept is clear. If you like the content, Please like, share, and subscribe to InterviewPro. Thank you.